So, a few weeks ago, I was writing a script for a video about Stephen King. I googled Stephen King for some reason and I saw his tweet raving about a book. The Women by Kristin Hannah, 6 weeks at top 1 on the New York Times bestseller list, and one of the few novels that deserve to be number 1 for 6 weeks. I got curious. I mean, it was Stephen King, so I thought this book was worth a shot. I searched the book on GoodReads and the average rating blew me away. About 200,000 ratings with the average of 4.7 out of 5. It doesn't happen every day. On Audible also, it has 4.8 average rating out of 5. I mean, this is so good for a book. So I scrolled down on GoodReads and I saw the genres. Historical fiction, good. War, good. I love it. Literary fiction, good. My favorite genre in fiction. Feminism, good. I mean, what's not to like?
What's not to like? Custard, good. Jam, good. Meat, good.
I wanted to read a literary fiction book with a theme of feminism, so I read it. And it disappointed me because it wasn't as deep as what I expect from a book with such great rating. I mean, if it had the chick lead tag on it and omitted the literary fiction tag from it, I wouldn't have any problem with it. The theme of feminism was at a surface level. I think a month after I read The Women by Kristin Hannah, I read As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. Feminism is not a main theme in As I Lay Dying, but it has some subtle hints of it here and there. For me, As I Lay Dying was more impactful than The Women in terms of discussing feminism. William Faulkner told a believable story about believable people and believable events and believable dialogues that showed the conflicts that a woman might have had in those days. If you have read As I Lay Dying, I'm talking about the pharmacy scene and the whole story behind that scene. It really captured how a woman might have felt at the time when facing that problem. So back to the women book. You know those colorful books that I told you they were mostly chick lead and they are fast-paced and fun to read? The Women is one of those books and it is not a bad thing. Actually, it could be a good thing. Those books are a great escape from real life. So if The Women was marketed as chick lead, I wouldn't have complained. This book is a page turner because it has this soap opera quality to it, which is intriguing. I mean, there are attractive men all over this book falling in love with our attractive protagonist, who's a nurse. At one point in this book, the main character sees this new handsome guy, and the very next time that they meet, the guy goes like, "Say you'll be my girl." I couldn't comprehend what happened at the first meeting that had an impact like this, that he felt so hard for her. I also couldn't find much difference in the personality of this handsome man, and overall the character development in this book bothered me. At best, it was average. Another thing that I want to talk about is the use of a direct message. For example, in this book we have the sentence, "Women can be heroes." It's a strong opinion and it's the major message of the book, and I think it wasn't too great to use that sentence that much in the book. I don't know if I can exactly say how I feel about it, but when it's too much in front of your face, the story loses its magic. And when the direct message is omitted from the story and you're just watching the story evolving and you kind of get the message yourself, it has more strength and it is so much more memorable, at least for me. So I think the sentence, "Women can be heroes," lost its impact. Okay, I have another complaint that is more of a preference than a technical problem. You know, the main character is a nurse. She has just graduated and she goes straight to Vietnam and she doesn't make any mistakes at work. Maybe it's because I'm working at a new job and I'm kind of understand how making a mistake is inevitable when you're new at a new job. And being perfect is just a myth. And a person who doesn't fail at work is a person who doesn't work. When I was reading about her, the main character's experience in Vietnam as a nurse, I was just looking for some, authentic experience. It's just a preference. But when I think about the books that I really, really love and the stories that I really, really enjoy, the characters in those stories always have been imperfect, always have been making mistakes and growing, and sometimes not growing. Maybe it's just a chapter of their lives that they are just making mistakes and it's not a growing chapter for them in life, but it is real and you kind of have empathy, and that's what makes it memorable to me, and that's why I enjoy stories. So this character, the main character Frankie in this book, and also the book was not memorable to me, and I didn't feel any empathy for any of those characters in this book. And maybe that is one of the reasons. Maybe that's because I didn't see the main character as a flawed person. I kind of saw her as some stereotypical character that is supposed to be a strong female character. I'm gonna put a disclaimer right here. Kristin Hannah is a very good author. I mean, I cannot write nearly as good as she does. She really knows what she's doing. She is really familiar with the craft. I understand the author's urge to write about a strong female character. This is a good thing for women and the world, but I didn't like the way it was delivered. Another thing is that I felt like this book was telling me everything straight to my face, in front of my face, and there wasn't much stuff for me to discover myself. And this might be another preference. Many people may like straight to the point story, and some might like more lifelike stories. Life just shows you the stories of yourself and other people, and you yourself are the judge who kind of discovers some messages or discovers something that you can learn, that you can use in your future. So I want something like that. And when I see a book with such great rating, 4.8, 4.7, I expect something like that. This book is not very good in the art of showing instead of telling. Let me give you some examples. So Frankie, the main character, has a friend who's a black woman, and after her friend goes back to the US, writes Frankie a letter in which she says, "The world might be changing, but we women are still second-class citizens, and black women, well, you do the math." So it's another direct message in front of your face without any stories. And in that letter, she doesn't talk about exactly what happens to her and what kind of racism and sexism she faces when she goes back to the US, which I'm sure she does because, I live in this world. But, as I said before, I want a story. If I wanted a straight to the point, straight to my face message, I would have picked up a nonfiction book. There's a book, Queenie. I don't remember the name of the author. It was so good. It was about this black woman, and it was full of little stories like real life that made you yourself discover how misogyny, sexism, and racism has made Queenie's life harder. Let's go back to the women. In some other part of the book, we have this, thank God for girlfriends, in this crazy, chaotic, divided world that was run by men who could count on women. Here again, we have a direct message, not a story that delivers, that carries the message. The author could have added some stories that showed exactly how these friends supported each other, which, to be honest, she did. There are some stories about how these friends supported each other, but I think it could have been better. But overall, the female friendship part of the book was better developed than the romantic part of the book. But again, it was not a 4.7 stars out of 5 stars development. It was average. Okay, overall about this book, I love the premise. Shows that the author cares about very important things. It's always great to know that there are books out there that talk about the things that you care about. For me, this book was a 3 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed the book, if it is one of your favorite books, I'd be glad to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and bye.